Hey everybody, I'm Joel. This is Chase. We're two lawyers at Williams Elleby here in Kennesaw, Georgia, coming to you today with week number 11 or video number 11 out of our series of 52 weeks of personal injury. So today, what we want to talk to you about is why it's a good idea to make a claim under your own automobile insurance policy after a wreck.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest gripes I always get from my clients are like, I never want to make a claim against my auto insurance. I didn't do anything wrong. Why do I need to get them involved? I don't want my rates to go up. You know, the sky's falling. It's always vital almost just to at least let your insurance company know of the wreck. Put them on notice of the wreck because for one, that policy booklet that you got when you first signed up with State Farm or Allstate or whatever has a little section in there that I'm sure you all read cover to cover. It has a little section in there that says you have to give them reasonable notice of a potential claim. So that means you have to let them know once a wreck has occurred, or they could say, you know what, we're so sorry you pay for all this coverage and that you've been paying for years and that you're a loyal customer, but we're not going to cover you because you didn't tell us about the wreck. And a lot of times people are like, well, why in the world do I have to tell them? I didn't cause the wreck.
Why should somebody's own insurance company have to pay anyway?
Right, exactly. So first things first is the person who hit you could be uninsured, right? They could not have coverage, and in that case, your coverage would kick in, assuming you have uninsured motorist coverage. So that's the first and most important thing. Second thing.
Oh, I didn't know I was going to have to answer this question. No, I would say the second thing is the person that hits you may have uninsured motor or may have liability coverage, but they don't have enough to cover your damages. So many times we see a minimum, what we call minimum limits cases in Georgia. In Georgia, you have to have at least $25,000 of coverage to legally drive. But somebody causes a wreck and hurts somebody and their ER bills alone are over $25,000. Well, then they have to have follow-up care. They may have to have a physical therapy. They may have to have injections. They may have to have surgery. They may have to have psychiatric care if the wreck is bad enough and the trauma is bad enough. And $25,000, it just isn't going to cover it. So it's always important to look to your own insurance policy to see if we have what's called uninsured or underinsured motorist coverage, because if you have the right kind, there could potentially be more there to recover from.
Yeah, exactly.
And you shouldn't feel bad about making that claim, because guess what? You're paying the insurance company to provide that coverage to you every time you pay your premium. So they have to provide that to you in exchange for the money that you're giving them to provide the coverage.
Right, and it's important to know too, if you're not at fault and you make a claim against your uninsured motorist, they legally can't raise your rates for making that claim. Now, of course, the caveat I always say is that, you know, when it comes time to renew your policy, the wind could have changed direction, so your rate's going to go up, but they legally can't increase your rates because you made an uninsured motorist claim. So another reason to put your insurance company on notice is you might have what's called medical payments coverage under your policy, or MedPay for short. And basically what that is, that's usually it's $1,000, $2,000, I've seen all the way to $25,000 of money that's available to you to pay for your medical bills if you've been injured in a car wreck, right? So this can be things like your co-pays, deductibles, or whatever the straight bill is, whatever the services that you had because of the wreck. So you need to let your insurance company know, and then that way they can start to process those bills and things like that.
Yeah, if you're looking for the best way to minimize your out-of-pocket expenses, you need to make that claim for MedPay.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't even know they have it.
Yep.
Right, because it's just an add-on. It's very inexpensive to have, and then it's kind of a pleasant surprise. Like, oh, great, I've got an extra $2,000 to go towards my treatment. I'm not going to have to pull from savings to pay for these unexpected bills. So it's very important to put them on notice of that as well.
And sometimes we call it MedPay here in Georgia. In other states, it might be called PIP type coverage, but same thing. It can pay your bills after a wreck. All right, so another reason you should notify your insurance company after a wreck is if there's significant property damage or any property damage to your vehicle at all. Sometimes it's a lot easier to go through your own insurance company to get your car fixed or get reimbursed for a totaled vehicle than it is to go through the at-fault party's insurance company. There's advantages and disadvantages to it. So the reason I say it's easier is it usually goes quicker.
Right.
The disadvantage is that your deductible is going to be taken out of whatever you get paid, say if the car is totaled to begin with. But in reality, what happens is, say you've got State Farm as your insurance company, and the other party has Progressive. Well, State Farm will pay you, then they'll file a claim against Progressive to get their money back. And if they get all of their money back, then they'll reimburse your $500 or your $1,000, whatever your deductible has to be. But most of the time, what we hear back from our clients is that they are more satisfied with the speed by which the property damage claim is processed when they use their own insurance.
And which makes sense, right? Because you're paying the premiums for that coverage. You're their customer, so they want to do right by you. And if you have collision coverage, they'll try to handle the claim a lot quicker. And a lot of times what we see, if it's, the at-fault insurance company, say it's Allstate or something like that, well, our clients will be calling or we'll be calling saying, hey, what's going on with this case? And the insurance company will say, hey, well, we haven't talked to our insured or our driver yet, so we haven't decided whether or not we're even going to pay for anything. Well, there's nothing, really incentivizing. There's no fire under that adjuster to make them constantly call and figure out what's going on with their insured, because chances are if I caused the wreck and my insurance company's calling me, I'm thinking, dang, I don't want to talk to them. My rates are going to go through the roof, so they have no sense of urgency in trying to get the case resolved. So when you go through your insurance company on the property damage side, like I said, to your customer, they want to work with you. It goes much quicker, but the caveat being you've got to wait to get your deductible back once they get their money back from the at-fault insurance company. So.
Yep. Okay, so 3 things to take from this video. Number 1, you want to notify your insurance company, file a claim with them in case the at-fault driver doesn't have enough coverage to cover your damages. What was number 2?
MedPay.
MedPay, yep, to make sure that you minimize your out-of-pocket expenses and get your medical bills paid. And number 3, you may want to consider doing that for your property damage claim because it usually will go quicker. But that's really all I've got for this video.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Well, if it's been helpful to you, I'm going to make Chase do it this time because I always have to do this part. If you like the video, what should you do?
You should like and subscribe and comment below. That's what my kids say, at least, so I think that's the right thing.
Yeah, that's what all YouTubers say, so that's what we'll say. Anyway, we appreciate you listening this week. We'll see you next week for video number 12.